this makes better sense.
Tina Simunye.
Tina Simunye.
Tina Simunye.
Sinabande.
Tina Simunye.
Tina Simunye.
Tina Simunye. We are together.
We are together.
We are together.
Family.
We are together.
We are together.
We are together.
Family.
Tina Simunye.
Tina Simunye.
Tina Simunye.
Bonded.
We are together.
We are together.
We are together.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah. It is officially afternoon. Hey, everybody. I'm Destiny Chance. I'm morning anchor at WYFF News 4 Today. I'm your MC for the afternoon, and I'm so happy to be back here this year. Last year was my first year MCing this event, but this year's luncheon, it's already a million times better, and we'll tell you exactly why in just a little bit. But I want to welcome everyone here in person on campus at Grace Church's Pelham Road campus, but I also want to welcome everyone out there who is live streaming, and they are joining us virtually. Including Anna, who is having a watch party right now. There's a ton of watch party crews out there, so that's so exciting for us too. But we want you to take pictures while you're at your watch party, and make sure you post them on social media. There are 2 hashtags that you can use, okay? It is hashtag GHA Friendraiser. So that's FRIENDRAISER and GHA iGNITE 2022. So we can see you. So we want to remind our virtual viewers that a link to the event program along with some tech tips, it can be found on the landing page right there where you're watching us right now. How was that amazing choir, you guys? Can we give it up for them? So the choir actually came together today, and it's all about sharing their gifts, of course, and contributing to the whole for a stronger community and a connected community. And the song that they were singing was called Tina Simunye. It's such a beautiful song. That's the title of this year's song. It comes from the native Zulu language, which means we are together. Singa Bomdine, it means we are family. And GHA learned about this song through Adric Caesar, who is going to be speaking later in the program as the chair of GHA's Innovate Working Group. He says that the song moved him when he saw a documentary about the children of Agape, which is a choir made up of children that are living at Agape Orphanage in South Africa. And despite the horrific tragedy that they all went through of losing their parents, the children came together and they found joy in singing. And it's a powerful joy. You could hear it through their voices. It reminded him of the work we're here to celebrate today, which is not only one agency or one church that can help with this cause and to solve homelessness, but it's all of us working together through a connected community and a family. We're also here today because of at least 3,200 men, women, and children experiencing homelessness in Greenville County. More than 1,000 of those are school-age children. From tent cities to motels and emergency shelters, homelessness does not have one cause, one solution, or one type of person that it impacts. It's a bigger and a more complex problem than any one agency, individual, or government entity can solve, and that's where the Greenville Homeless Alliance comes in. Created in 2018 by direct service providers and city, county, and community leaders, GHA is a coalition that works with individuals, policymakers, and organizations to educate the community, advocate for change, and find innovative solutions to help end homelessness. This is why the Greenville Homeless Alliance exists, and it's the reason behind the iGNITE Luncheon. Now, during our event today, you'll meet so many of the partners that make up the Greenville Homeless Alliance, and you'll get to see and hear the successes that have been achieved here locally, and you'll also get to find out more about what you're seeing along the sides, information about banners. I can't wait to share that with you all. But right now, we're going to go ahead and say a very special thank you to every individual and organization that's providing direct frontline service to men, women, and children experiencing homelessness in our community. We truly appreciate you.
Hello, everybody. I am Lauren Stevens, and I am the Director of Social Services at the Salvation Army here in Greenville County. What a great day this is, and what a really strong example of exactly what we're trying to fight against, which is every single person in this room walked through that weather. Every single person in this room experienced what my friends and your potential friends or current friends experienced sleeping in, waking in, organizing their belongings in. We all walked through that, and every single one of us wished we hadn't had to. We in this room have the power, and many of us the authority, to make an incredible difference in the lives of those folks, in the lives of our neighbors, our brothers, our sisters, and our friends. So that was off script. Now, we'll get back to the script. And I'm also, besides being the Director of Social Services at the Salvation Army, I am the very proud chair of the Greenville Homeless Alliance. And in 2019, the Greenville Homeless Alliance was part of a significant moment as a proclamation declaring November 15th, today, as GHA Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Day. That day, there was a proclamation signed by Mary Knox White and then County Council Chairman Butch Kervin. It was significant as it marked a unified agreement that hunger and homelessness in Greenville needed the attention and support of our entire community. Since that time, both city and county councils have supported that commitment with historic funding for our affordable housing, public transit, and other methods of direct service. We are very thankful, this alliance is, for our elected officials, and would like to recognize those that are here with us today. If you are an elected official from any branch of any government or a board or commission, could you please stand and be recognized? We also want to give a huge thank you to everyone who supports the work of GHA, either as a volunteer or a donor. I would personally like to thank our members of our steering committee, who put up with me and helped direct the vision and strategic direction of the Greenville Homeless Alliance. Thank you for your commitment to this work and for the commitment to our friends who otherwise no one would know existed without you. This year we have incredible volunteers that serve within our working group structure. These cross-sector groups are doing the work of implementing GHA's strategic plan. There are more than 80 individuals from 60 different organizations that have invested over 500 hours this year creating ways to educate our community, to offer advocacy training, to increase the collaboration we already have, and to explore innovative solutions to homelessness. As you can see on the screen, the organizations currently serving in leadership roles on GHA steering committee as well as our working groups are represented right now. We sincerely appreciate the time and the effort that we know you have put into our structure itself and to influence the lives of the folks that all of us individually and collectively serve. And to our donors, your generosity gives life to this alliance. It gives us the ability to continue to pursue solutions for the men, women, and children experiencing homelessness in our community. We are thankful every day for your commitment to this work. And if there's anybody in the room saying, my goodness, she really got me, I want to join in on that, stay tuned. I'm going to tell you how you can. You can make a contribution at any point in time during this presentation and event today. And there are 3 simple ways to give. There is a QR code on the screen or on your program so you can donate directly online. You can visit our website at www.gvlhomes4all.org. One more time from the top, gvlhomes4all.org. And you can select the donate button in the upper right-hand corner. Or you can kick it old school and you can place a check in the donor envelopes on your table and mail it to the address that's on your program. We especially want to thank the sponsors of this event today. You see them on the screen and as well as on your program. Our presenting sponsor, Triune Mercy Center. Our banner sponsor, the Jolly Foundation. Our lunch sponsors, Williams Wealth Management and Horton Law Firm. Our media sponsors, NHE Incorporated, the Salvation Army of Greenville, and First Baptist Church. We would also like to thank our digital sponsors for the iGNITE Luncheon. Your support of today's event will ensure that GHA continues to ignite our community through education, advocacy, collaboration, and innovation. If you could please join me to give all of those sponsors a round of applause. And I can tell it's not my talking that's keeping everyone quiet, it's the delicious food you have in front of you. And so I would be remiss if I did not say a huge thank you and recognition to the delicious lunch from Jasmine Kitchen. And finally, to the space that we are in. Grace Church at Pelham has been instrumental in making today happen. They are organized, they are on top of it, and they are gracious enough to allow us to utilize this space. And we are, in fact, coming to you live from right here off Pelham Road amidst this terrible weather, and the room is completely full. And to me, that represents faith in action. Faith without action is dead. And your mere presence in this room today is an actionable step in the right direction. We thank you once again for being with us today and for having the desire to see to it that Greenville has an experience of homelessness that is brief, and when it must happen, it also should be rare. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. I actually met Lauren here last year. We were sitting at that table, and she was like, I work for the Salvation Army. We've been connected ever since, and y'all are located right beside our news station, so guess what? She's a friend and a friend of the media, and she'll be like, y'all need to check this out. So I'm grateful for everybody that was introducing me to all the people here. Again, that's a testament to all the amazing souls that you have here present with you and here virtually. All right, so today is not just a fundraiser. You heard it correctly. I said friend-raiser earlier. For the past few weeks, GHA partners and stakeholders have been working to get as many people as possible to follow GHA on social media and joining us today. Why? Because we know that's the only way we will ignite change in our community and have a chance to end homelessness is by becoming the vision of our entire community. Our ability to educate and create change grows exponentially as we reach more people. So please join me in giving a special shout out to our social media squad and everyone in our virtual audience today. And I'm not saying I'm one of the go-to people at my station for social media, but I low-key am, and I was telling them today, I was talking to Heather, they've been working so incredibly hard on this for months for you all, and can't you all see the transformation from last year to this year, the QR codes that make it super easy for people to give and to find out more about other stories. It's just so easy to follow, so we're very appreciative of that. All right, outside of that, we do want to talk about facing homelessness, of course. We did talk about the 3,200 men, women, and children mentioned earlier about Greenville County, that they're facing it every day. But facing the impact homelessness has on our community is also important. There are many different factors that can contribute to someone experiencing homelessness. Things like housing that is not affordable, mental or physical health issues, addiction, domestic violence, job loss, and even loss of family from death or divorce. But the tipping point is if someone does not have a support system to help them navigate the factors that I just listed. The Greenville Homeless Alliance is proud of all the local partners on the front line that can step in to make a difference and to share hope by providing shelter, mental and physical health care, outreach, pathways to housing, and more. These service providers help create a support system for some of the most vulnerable in Greenville County. But again, they can't do it alone. It takes an entire community, a connected community, to end homelessness. We hope over our time together today, you'll be inspired to see how you fit in as part of a connected community committed to ending homelessness in Greenville County. We have a very exciting program for you, as I mentioned earlier. You're going to hear some stories from men and women who have faced homelessness and the organizations that help them find hope. We're going to unveil a collaborative work of art that was inspired by the tiny painted houses you walked by as you entered today, and you'll get to hear the original poem from Moody Black, who joined us on the project. We'll also be sharing iGNITE moments. These are opportunities for you to hear firsthand how different individuals and organizations are getting involved in the work of GHA, and maybe even give you some ideas on how you all can get engaged. To kick off our first iGNITE moment, please help me and welcome Mega Lal.
Good afternoon. Did you know that we currently in Greenville County have 450 emergency shelter beds that serve more than 1,900 individuals over a 12-month period? That's men, women, and children of all ages and all races. My name is Mega Lal, and I want to ensure you that students know these facts as they develop their ideas about what is important and how they can impact the world around them. For that reason, I have worked with GHA to be able to share the Homelessness 101 presentation with students at St. Joseph's Catholic School. We know that in order to change complex systems, education is essential. If I can better help tomorrow's leaders understand what homelessness looks like at our local level, hopefully they will be better equipped to make decisions, policies, practices, and make resources available that not only make homelessness eradicated, but also temporary. I encourage all of you here today to learn more and share with others in our entire community to be part of a solution. Now, please join me in watching our first iGNITE moment on a story of hope.
My wife asked me, how do they eat? Well, I told her that they eat off the grill or in the microwave. And when she heard that, she said, well, one thing that they're missing is Sunday dinner like my grandma used to cook. And that's how Sunday dinner came. With my life story of being homeless for 18 years and her grandma, that's how we put it together. We go out and feed approximately 125 to 150 men and women that are homeless in the streets. We got some great volunteers now, and we meet here at County Square every Sunday at 3:30, and we come out and we put the trays together and load them up in the vans and then take them out to the different places that we go.
So I'm Cassandra Martin, co-founder of Sunday Dinner with a Twist.
And I am John Martin, co-founder of Sunday Dinner with a Twist. And this is little Samuel Dean with Sunday Dinner with a Twist.
Hey everybody. Like the video said, my name is John Martin, and that is my beautiful wife, Cassandra Martin, and we are co-founders of Sunday Dinner with a Twist. I am so honored to be here today, along with the Greenville Homeless Alliance. At last year's event, I got to meet a special person named Alan Graham. He has tiny homes in Austin, Texas, and he came out and rode around with us and did our deal on Sunday. And then he invited me and Cassandra to come and share the experience of tiny homes in Austin, Texas. And we went out and we saw this remarkable community, something that we so bad need here in Greenville, to get the homeless off the streets and into a community so once again they can feel like a human. That is one of our slogans, is humanizing the homeless. And it don't take much, y'all. I can, recently they asked me to speak at the city council, and I'm just as nervous as I was then that I am now. I feel like I'm about to have a heart attack. And not only I feel like a rotisserie chicken with these lights. I think if y'all hungry, we can eat afterwards. But it don't take much, y'all. And I want to tell you a story about my friend Bobby J. And Bobby J was on the streets for 9 years. And Bobby J, we fed him every Sunday, and Bobby J always had a smile on his face and wanted to take a picture with us. And Bobby J asked me a couple months ago, he said, "Can you find my family?" He said, "I want to go home." So I went on the internet, and it took me all but 20 minutes to find his sister who lived in Holly Hill, South Carolina. And I left her a message and told her to call me, and she called me. That Sunday, she called me back. We were on the way to go out and feed Bobby J. And we put them on FaceTime together. And she cried, and they cried, we cried, everybody cried. And, the amazing thing about it is her family hadn't seen him in 9 years, and they thought he was dead. And for her to see her brother is why we do what we do every Sunday, in hopes to bring a family member back together. And we took Bobby J down to Columbia to a family reunion, and he was reunited with his family. And now Bobby J's in Winston-Salem, living in a condo where his family had prepared for him. And the other day he called me, and he said, "Man, I went to the fair." And Bobby J's 66 years old, and it was the first time he ever been to the fair. And he rode the rides, and he had a great time. And that's why we do Sunday dinner, and that's why we need everybody here to join together and build these tiny homes and start this community so everybody can feel family again. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John. You did an incredible job. You didn't need to be nervous. You got this. Thank you. Okay, so I talked about the banners, right? Okay, if you haven't seen them, take a look at your left and your right, and you can see that the banners that they created, I'm going to explain those really quickly. Okay, so these are the faces of the men and women that work in direct service organizations that provide support and assistance and help. Each banner has a QR code that will take you to a story and or a video on GHA's website that tells you about those featured on the banner, and it provides links to organizations and websites where you can learn more. Our virtual audience can see the stories of hope on the blog section of GHA's website. Starting in December, next month, these banners can be reserved to be put on display by local businesses, local schools, libraries, or any organization that wants to help our community better understand what homelessness really looks like in Greenville County. This collaborative community project has many partners that we want you to meet. First, the video you just saw are connected to so many of these banners, and they were created by students. So this is amazing, right? Of course, we want to thank and introduce Jason Wagoner and Sharon Robertson with Bob Jones University Department of Cinematic Arts, who created an opportunity for GHA to work with students to develop 1-minute documentaries featuring the men and women with students, and they are also on the banners. We're joined by these student filmmakers, Isaac Kropsky, Kristen Davis, Shay Ellerbrock, John Harris, Jared Jen, Emily Johnson, and Janet Malaska. So will you all please stand so we can thank them for helping us share the important stories of hope. We would also like to thank Kevin Mahali, who took the photos featured in these banners. Thank you, Kevin. Where's Kevin? Great job, Kevin. Kevin shared how he learned a lot during the time he spent as he captured these beautiful photos, and he talked about the power of proximity, as he heard earlier this year from Brian Stevenson, the founder and executive director of the Equal Justice Initiative and author of Just Mercy. Brian was the featured speaker at the United Ministries Uniting for Change Luncheon. And second, we want to thank all of the frontline service provider organizations for connecting us to these amazing stories. The work you do is essential, and we're so thankful for you. And finally, we want to thank, most important of all, the men and women who are featured in these videos and banners. Thank you so much for telling your stories so that others can have hope. Your voices are essential in helping us understand and find solutions that can prevent and end homelessness for others. We have many of them here today with us, so can you please stand and show you how much we appreciate you. I'm going to call out your names, the ones that I see that are here. Dan, Harold, and can y'all clap as they're standing? Vernell, Dwayne, Latanya, John, Red, and well, Red is your nickname, right? And Cassandra, we just saw them on that video. And also Adrian with Safe Harbor representing Hubertine. So I'm delighted to introduce this next video because it was someone that we featured on WYFF in an interview a couple of weeks ago. Our Peyton Furtado did that story a couple of weeks ago. I've been sharing it nonstop. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me introduce Jessica's story.
Every Sunday I would go to a different church, and I would live there for a week. I didn't have anywhere for me and Olivia to live. It was horrible. My name is Jessica Lee Lyon, and I have been in the iGNITE program since March of 2020. How do I go to court to regain custody of my kids? I didn't have an attorney, couldn't afford an attorney. I contacted someone from United Ministries, and that ended up changing everything. They've made housing affordable. Without the housing, I wouldn't have been able to regain custody of my kids. They truly had my back. Every goal that I came up with, I was able to accomplish. I've been able to regain custody of all of my children. It was amazing. Truly amazing.
afternoon. I want to say we will be so honored when we put the keys in Jessica's hands for her new house. You've done all the work, and you deserve it. Hello, I'm Gail PA, and I'm the Vice President of Strategic Initiatives with Habitat Greenville, and we're a proud partner with GHA. I'm chairman of our advocacy working group, and I've had the privilege of being a part of an amazing team that developed GHA's Advocacy Training Academy. We created it because we wanted to increase the number of local residents who understand and are willing to engage in advocacy that impacts homelessness in Greenville County. The goal is to ultimately affect policy, change how we do things, practices and resources in a way that will increase options for individuals and families experiencing homelessness in our community. These sessions are purposely low barrier. We create it so that people have stipends, we prepare meals, and we make sure that everyone is welcomed. In August of this year, we held an academy session with the Sterling Community Center. It was hosted by their neighborhood association, and it was attended by more than 35 neighbors and community partners. As part of the training, we were delighted to have City Council member Dorothy Dow come out and speak with us. And in an earlier session, as we tried to figure out what this was going to look like, Representative Chandra Dillard also came and brought amazing remarks and gave us ideas as how we need to approach our elected officials. If you're interested in hosting one of these academies, we bring the academy to you. We have worked on our curriculum, and we have an amazing presentation and great response from those individuals that participate in it. I encourage you to be in touch with the GHA staff if you're interested, and I just want to share that at Habitat, our vision is that everyone has a decent place to live. And I thank GHA for making that possible for our homeless individuals and for the partners that are in this room today. Thank you.
Gail, thank you. There are a couple of names that we left off with the stories of the men and women that were able to tell their stories. That was Dan, Harold, Sherry, Vernell, Dwayne, Latanya, Jessica, Ashley, Christopher, John, Cassandra, and again, Adrian Atkinson with the Safe Harbor representing Hubertine. So again, give it up for them. All right, so let's have a little bit of audience participation. For our online viewers, if you have not already downloaded your Day with Destiny card, there should be a link on the landing page where you're watching this event that will take you to it. And for those of you here at Grace, you'll find the card on your table. I'll give you a second to grab it. Your card includes the realities that might be faced by someone experiencing homelessness in Greenville. If you don't have a card, raise your hand. I think we're all covered here. Okay? Again, your card includes the realities that might be faced by someone experiencing homelessness in Greenville. It includes John, who currently lives unsheltered. John is one of at least 214 residents that lives outside, in a car, or in a tent. 41% have lived that way for the past 12 months or longer. Mary lives in an emergency shelter. She's one of more than 1,919 people that depend on emergency shelters like the Greenville Rescue Mission and the Salvation Army annually. And finally, we have the Williams family, Dina and her 3 school-age children who currently live in a motel. 86 of 94 schools in Greenville County have students experiencing homelessness like Dina's kids attending. So here's what we're going to do. As I share with you about how my typical day may look at your card. And if someone on your card can't do what I'm doing, cross out the square that shows why. Okay? Let's begin. So my day probably starts a lot earlier than you all, since I am the morning anchor at WYFF News 4. But I imagine that it starts pretty similar. I wake up in my house, in my bed, in my bedroom. It's chilly outside, but my house is warm. My first stop from my bed is turning on the light because it is so early, so I can make my way to the kitchen to make some coffee. I open the refrigerator and look around trying to decide what to have for breakfast. There's overnight oats, but I decide to scramble some eggs and pack some snacks to eat for later. I put my dishes in the dishwasher, then head back to the bedroom to get ready for the day. Now it's time to head to work. I kiss my husband and I go to my daughter's room to make sure she's still sleeping. I kiss her goodbye too. I get my coat from the hall closet, car keys, unplug my phone from the charger, and last stop before I head out the door is to fill my very large water bottle from the kitchen sink so I can stay hydrated. Ask me after the program about that. It's an inside joke, you guys. All right, so how many X's do you have on your card? Don't say it out loud, but stay tuned for part 2. Later in the program, we'll explain why. But for now, here's another Ignite moment.
Good afternoon. My name is Adric Caesar. I am the Executive Director of the Good Shepherd's House and Regional Manager of Elite Integrated Therapy Centers. My friends know me as AD. I also serve as co-chair for the GHA Innovate Working Group. This year, we've been working to understand the impact of shared housing on homelessness. Shared housing is not a new idea, but innovation is not always a new idea. Sometimes innovation is simply implementing an old idea in a new way. For people exiting homelessness, the house, the sticks and the bricks is just one part of the solution. The rest of the equation must include supportive people and supportive services to help people advance on their journey to stability and wholeness. The real crisis is the lack of healthy homes, not just the lack of affordable houses. So an old idea implemented in a new way. Shared housing maximizes cost sharing while mitigating social isolation by connecting people to an intentional family and a supportive community. This is just one example of the innovation we need to deliver justice to people experiencing homelessness. As you heard the opening song, Tina Semunye, we are together, and Singabam Dene, we are family. This is the master key for solving homelessness, together. Those in need and those who have as one. Unity is certainly our superpower. Albert Einstein once said, we can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. We have experienced this to be true. We also know this community, your community, my community, has many creative thinkers and many more compassionate change agents. Is not love the original source of innovation? So we invite you to join us as innovators, not just thinking outside of the box, but thinking outside of the old house where the old box sits. Come share your spiritual, intellectual, social, and financial capital to ignite change and impact our community together. Tina Semunye, Singabam Dinye. Now, I am honored to introduce the next story of hope. This is LaTanya's story.
I was broken and I was following the wrong crowd.
The drug wouldn't let me pay my bills, wouldn't let me care about my children or anything. I'm Latanya Davis. I'm a mother of 3, and I'm a recovering addict who has struggled through homelessness. I guess I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I wanted to change. I wanted to get off those streets, start my life over.
One day, Latanya called and said, I want to come to Jasmine Road.
She took a chance on me because it is for people who want it, not for people who need it. I found some hope in Jasmine Road program.
I was excited to be able to help develop and create Jasmine Road so that women would have those opportunities to come off the streets of Greenville and be welcomed home.
The love that Jasmine Road has is just so phenomenal. If there were more Jasmine Roads, this world would be a better place. It would definitely be a better place.
I want to thank you all for coming today. I'm Tina Christopher. Many of you got an email from me over the last several months. So I'm a volunteer with GHA, and I've been the event coordinator working with Susan and Heather since the beginning of the year. So you know how much time has gone into this. I actually started volunteering with them on the recommendation of Grace Church because I happen to go to Grace Church here at Pelham, and I wanted to become a part of the front porch ministry that they do. And so they gladly accepted me, so I'm a resident supporter now for Grace's Front Porch. And I also went to see Susan and realized that she and Heather really need some helping hands. So I was thrilled to work with them to help make this event possible today. Also, I volunteer with Miracle Hill at their Shepherd's Gate Women's Homeless Shelter. I've been doing that for 4 years, absolutely love it. But all of a sudden it dawned on me, wow, I volunteer for 3 organizations that are all a part of this connected community, and they're all represented here today. So I just think that's really, really cool. I love volunteering. I'm blessed enough to be able to have retired a little bit early, so it's easy for me to volunteer. I have time and I have talent that I'm happy to share with whoever wants it, and that to me brings a lot of joy because there's no paycheck involved, there's no reward or recognition expected in any way. I do it because I want to do it, and so that's just true freedom. Also, what I've found is that when other people volunteer, they get that same kind of joy back in their life. You know, it's so wonderful to help people who just need help, and you feel good about it, and they feel good about it. It's awesome. So I would encourage any of you who have the time and talent to give to organizations as a volunteer to really go ahead and step out and do that, even if it's just an hour of your time. I know a lot of you are still working. I'm not as fabulous. But if you are, I know you're busy and crazy and you don't have that time to volunteer. However, you can always give financial donations. Everybody likes that too. GHA actually partners with over 120 organizations, and most of those are looking for volunteers. So in Greenville County, there's a lot of places where you can make a positive impact by volunteering your time, talent, or treasure. This summer, GHA actually was able to collaborate with Triune Mercy Center's Art Room, which is such a neat thing for people in the community to go to and express their creative sides. And so you probably noticed the little tiny painted houses when you came in, especially if you happen to be waiting in line to register. And those were all done at the end of the summer at Triune Mercy's Art Room. And one of the people who spent a lot of time there was Mr. Moody Black. He was a regular, and he has captured the experience with this next video you're going to see, and a poem entitled, "Love is a House."
It is said that love is a house. If so, there's so many people that need love, need a house, need shelter, the type of embrace that offers space. So love is a residence, a warm abode, stretched arms reaching out to give a hug, just so one can have a semblance of home. But if you see someone sleeping on the street, that's not home. That's not what love looks like. It seems hostile to have to beg to have a hostel, a roof overhead. Instead, many are left without lodging. How is it that we are in the land leaving many to live with the lack of love? But all we have to do is care in order to construct a community. Find a lot to pour love into. Create a crew, a support system to lay foundation, install footing by just taking a step to heal this land. You can only build with this frame of mind. Because someone without love is only trying to see compassion through the windows of your soul, just so they can know someone out there cares. Thus, giving a sense of love, a sense of home. That's how you open doors, because we are the keys. We provide the warmth, the insulation. We make the village. We make the nation. We just have to believe. And all we need is a square footage of faith. It's never too late. Question: what if we really could paint a happy home? What if we really could give everyone a house? We could actually create a kingdom of kindness, a community of caring. And all we need to do is help those in need find love. Because it is said that love is a house. And if this is true, then everyone needs love.
Hi, my name is Bambi Roy, and I was a part of the Tiny Painted House project through Triune Mercy Center. Honored to have my artwork featured on their honor card this year. My coming there kind of started at Walmart in the aisle. I was shopping and didn't really have any money, was looking for a paintbrush, and met a man who told me about the art room and just said it's free for the community to come and do art. And I thought, I was going through a lot at the time and just needed a place to de-stress, kind of get away from the world for a while. And so I didn't know what to expect and went there and had a great time. My first painting says hope, because I felt like that was what I needed at the time. And that painting is out in the lobby on display. I still struggle to find affordable housing in Greenville, despite going back for my bachelor's degree and working. I know that it's not going to fix the problem for me or for others, but after housing costs, there's food and gas and physical health and mental health and all of the things that we all need to pay for. But I'm really thankful to have found the art room and meet people who can be like a support network for me, including someone named Rebecca Constantine. She couldn't be here today, but she is the artist who created the work that you're about to see.
And as Bambi mentioned, Rebecca could not be here today, but she did put together a little something that I'm going to share with you because she could not represent herself. For the past 4 years, I have been a volunteer in the Triune Mercy Center Art Room, where Greenville area community members are welcomed and inspired to explore their creativity and express their lived experiences through art. Earlier this year, in partnership with GHA, Art Room participants were invited to consider the question, what does home mean to you? And to paint a wooden house in response. This project breathed fresh life into the art room, attracting dozens of people who may not consider themselves artists, but found that they had a lot to say once a paintbrush was in their hands. I loved coming in each week to admire the growing collection of brightly colored houses. Some were decorated with messages of hope for the future or fun memories from the past, while others expressed gratitude for the shelter and comfort of having a place to call home. Some honored family members whose presence gives a sense of home more than any building ever could. A few expressed grief, loss, hardship, and regret with a vulnerability that deeply moved me. All of them told a story. I was inspired by these stories and the people who carry them to create an image of the connected community, a neighborhood of these little snapshots of life. Photos of the houses were cut and pasted onto a painted background of rolling hills, which brings to mind both the foothills of this region's landscape as well as the dynamic and ever-changing nature of challenges around housing and socioeconomic inequities within any community. The houses were positioned so that each one is touching at least one other house. None are floating about, disconnected, cut off, or forgotten. This is my hope for Greenville and beyond, that no matter our differences, we would notice and nurture our connections to each other and build communities that refuse to leave anyone out. This is a connected community. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, and everyone that was part of the effort to paint this. This is so lovely, hearing the meaning. Clap if that meant something to you, hearing that. We are excited to announce that each of you joining us in person today gets to take home one of the tiny houses that were painted, that are featured in this artwork. They will be packaged on the tables out in the lobby. They're on your right-hand side. And as you leave, so make sure that you take one with you on your way as our thank you to you all for being part of our connected community. We're also delighted to announce that this artwork is featured on the GHA honor card, and it's now available to purchase online and will be available in the lobby after the event. Now pull out your Day with Destiny cards for part 2. Remember, as I share with you about my day, if John, Mary, or the Williams family can't do what I'm doing, cross through the square that shows why. My day picks up with returning home from work. I use my key to unlock the door to get into my house. We bought this house 2 years ago, and we love our yard. We go outside to play and get the mail. My daughter would play outside all the time if we let her. Which brings me to my next activity, laundry. It's amazing how many clothes a 2-year-old can collect and how they can go through it all. I get a load of laundry done while I'm cooking dinner. We eat, have bath time, read a book, and then we put her to bed. I go to the living room to spend some time with my husband, catching up on one of our favorite TV shows. Before I know it, it's time to climb back into my bed in my bedroom in my house. The X's on your cards are reminders of how challenging it is to get through the day when you are experiencing homelessness. If this exercise was surprising to you, we're thankful because this information may be new to you. If this experience was not surprising to you, we're thankful because you may have real-life experience. Either way, we hope that you're inspired to become a more engaged member of our connected community, working to end homelessness together. And if you flip on the other side, it should be some stats on that side. I actually sent that out to my newsroom this morning. So we want to show you another iGNITE moment.
Hey everyone, my name is Anna Okapinski from the Community Tap in Greenville, South Carolina. I am hosting a watch party at one of our locations in North Main. Otherwise, I would be there with you, but I did want to send a quick video about my involvement with GHA. Back in April of 2021, I was asked to be on their Educate Working Group, which I didn't know who GHA was and what this group was about, but I saw some people on the list that I knew that I could personally learn from, so I said, okay. So since then, not only have I learned about homelessness in our community, but I've figured out how I could help with my expertise and the things that I know and work on. So with our Educate group, we have worked on the Homelessness 101 presentation. We have worked on some Mythbusters videos. We have grown our social media following with a social media squad. So my point is that it's not all about the big donations. Sometimes your time or your expertise could mean so much to this cause. So I hope today you're figuring out how you can contribute and how you can connect with this community so that we can end homelessness in Greenville.
Hello. I'm Joseph Cass, Development Manager with NHE Incorporated, a proud GHA partner. As a developer, we are constantly balancing the pull of funding, zoning, costs, and community needs. We recognize that it takes a collaboration and sometimes a lot of education to make sure that we get all the right players on the same page so we can build housing that is truly affordable and accessible to members of our community working to exit homelessness. The housing you will hear about in this next video was a great example of what needed to be built but didn't have all the community support required. We are thankful to the role GHA played in speaking out about the need for this housing for seniors. GHA continues to serve as a convener, connecting organizations and individuals that sometimes aren't even aware of one another to educate the community and advocate for change and collaborate to find innovative solutions to help end homelessness.
In 2016, I found myself in crisis, and it led to a lot of instability in my housing and in my finances. That wasn't the worst part. The worst part was losing my mother, my brother, it sounds like a country song, my dog, and my ex all in 10 days. That was enough to send me reeling. I did have a circle of friends that I'm involved with, and so they started helping me find places. So I might stay for a week somewhere with a friend, or I might do what we call couch surfing in the homeless community. And then I had a small inheritance where I could stay in a hotel and afford to finally, after 4 years, get a little vehicle. And then I got connected with United Ministries. They were a big part of helping me look and helping me pay for application fees. And I got turned down at 3 or 4 places. And then I read about Renaissance Place. And I was determined I'm going to get in there somehow.
If Renaissance Place and other communities like it did not exist, many of those households would be experiencing homelessness. I can't think of a better reason why homelessness advocates would also advocate for communities like Renaissance Place.
Here, my apartment, here, my home, and it's finally given me a sense of stability, and I don't have all that angst, and I didn't have to worry, am I going to have to move in 6 months? Or am I going to have to move in 1 month? Or am I going to have to go to another emergency shelter? And when I walk in, it's bright and it's airy, you know, and it's mine.
The Greenville Homeless Alliance began as a grassroots effort to address homelessness after a community crisis became known as Tent City, and the coalition of doers and change makers started in 2018. It has now grown from those original 18 partners that included the city and the county of Greenville to over 120 diverse partner organizations who are joining together to ignite sustainable change. We believe that homelessness is a bigger problem than any one agency or government entity can solve. So our collective way involves 4 working groups comprised of cross-sector partners focusing on education, advocacy, collaboration, and innovation. Now I'd like for you to meet some of the people who are joining with us to ignite real change.
My hope for Greenville, where I've lived for almost 30 years now, is that there will be continued investment, continued partnership. We've made a lot of progress in the last 10 years, but there's so much work left to do. We have a lot of stakeholders, a lot of education has occurred in recent years, and I think the time is right to make more significant investments, whether it's the city, the county, state, faith-based organizations, private industry. There's a role for everybody to play.
We have to be very intentional about helping homeless people have hope and not be afraid, and also give people an opportunity to feel that they're making a difference in their own journeys. So what we do is we have created a system to establish a training academy, a grassroots effort to help people that are interested in obtaining a voice and being a part of the change that will impact their lives. We see a pathway forward, and I'm feeling very optimistic that at some point in the history of Greenville, that there will not be homelessness, and that everybody that needs a decent place to live will have that.
Friends of the Reedy River is proud to partner with Greenville Homeless Alliance to consider the connection people experiencing homelessness have with our local watershed. We all recognize that people experiencing homelessness do not always have safe access to shelter, clean drinking water, and sanitation. The connection between people experiencing homelessness, environmental justice, and water quality is an ongoing conversation that we need to partner together on to be better stewards to both our environment and our community.
Oftentimes, working at Spinks, I'll be notified or we'll find homeless or homeless encampments behind some of our undeveloped properties. So part of my role in that is to help connect these people with the resources that Greenville County so has, because Spinks Company cares and wants to help out and assist people as best as they can.
When you first meet a participant or someone that you're working with who's homeless and living on the streets, there is a variety of barriers that you face, and a lot of those take time to come out as your relationship builds. One of the reasons these folks are on the street is because of the relationships that they had in their lives let them down or broke down. It takes time where we're working with other agencies to build that trust and to see where the barriers are, and then we move through those to help someone get into housing.
We know Greenville is a place of action. Continue with us in facing homelessness and sharing hope. For the first time in Greenville County, we have a real chance to end homelessness. Your generosity is the missing piece of our coalition. Donate today so that Greenville can become a beacon of hope.
Hi, I'm Sherry Shoemate, and I'm the Special Projects Director for Triune Mercy Center. I'm also a member of GHA's Educate Working Group and a part of the team that created the Mythbusters videos that have been released over the past weeks. After last year's event, I decided one of the best ways I could support the work of Greenville Homeless Alliance was to become a monthly giver. It was easy to do. I just went on the website, clicked donate, and selected recurring gift. To know I am contributing to the sustainability of this work by financially supporting GHA is important to me. As someone on the front line of this work, I value what GHA does that we can't do because of the demands of direct service. We need someone who is focused on dispelling the myths about homelessness and inviting the community to get engaged with advocacy that impacts the men and women that we serve. We need someone convening members from all parts of our community to find more innovative solutions. We need somebody who is willing to take the time to educate doctors and students and faith communities and business leaders about homelessness and how we can all be a part of the solution. I hope you will leave today, like I did last year, thankful, inspired, and willing to share as a monthly GHA donor.
Good afternoon. My name is Kia Keaton, and I am the Director of School and Community Engagement for On Track Greenville. I'm also a member of the GHA Collaborate Working Group and a steering committee member. In the spirit of a connected community, GHA undertook a second art collaboration this fall. This one with GHA partner Soteria and local artist. Show you. These ornaments, shaped like houses, were cut by Soteria interns from a piece of reclaimed wood. GHA then reached out to local artists in Greenville and asked them to paint the houses using the theme of home or hope. Here's a look at some of the amazing works that were created. The one in the middle is by local artist Emily Wilson, whose basset hound, Billy, took a bite out of the corner of the ornament before she had a chance to paint it. But as artists often do, she looked beyond what some would have seen as damaged and saw instead the opportunity for it to be uniquely beautiful. That's what these ornaments are: diverse and unique and beautiful, just like the men and women we have met today. Now, here's where it gets exciting. I have a giving challenge to share with you. Whether you are in person or you are joining us online, you can participate. The next 50 people who donate $50 using the QR code on the screen will get one of these houses as a thank you gift. And that's not all. The next 30 people who give a gift of $30 will receive a fabulous GHA t-shirt. So start scanning. The QR code will take you to Eventbrite. Then you will select Get Tickets button, and you will find the Giving Challenge options. Thank you again to all of the talented artists who painted these ornaments, and thank you for helping fund the important work of the Greenville Homeless Alliance.
Hello, I'm Mary K. Campbell, clinical social worker with Greater Greenville Mental Health Center. I serve as the program director for the homeless and outreach services at the center. I am the vice chair of the GHA steering committee. I am a member of Coffee Club. We're a group of service providers that meet weekly to concentrate on solutions for our folks experiencing homelessness, sheltered and unsheltered, meaning under a bridge, in an abandoned car, a tent in the woods. Solutions to move the individual from homelessness into what we call stable housing. And upstream, and we also focus on upstream solutions to address barriers, concerns, to prevent someone from entering into homelessness. Several of us in Coffee Club do what is called outreach. Outreach is person-centered, meaning the outreach team goes to the individual, and it is there in their setting. The team focuses on building trust, rapport, a therapeutic relationship, while meeting the individual's needs, be it food, water, mosquito spray, hand warmers, I've grown to call outreach as an intentional, purposeful intervention where the team meets the individual where they are. It is a process that can take days, months, and years. The homeless program at this center serves a subpopulation of the homeless population. We work with folks dealing with a serious and persistent mental illness. Having a serious mental illness is considered one of the risk factors that can lead to homelessness and hopelessness. Especially for someone where the illness has gone untreated and who has lost ties with family and friends. Somebody may be hearing voices and just leaves the family not understanding about the mental illness. It's just all sorts of, but there's a disconnect from support. The need for mental health professionals and access to services has only increased post-pandemic. GHA's COVID-19 brief cited mental health issues as a leading concern for our folks we serve, as well as for service providers. So we're not immune to any of this. It was hell, you know, for all. So where is our hope? Let me tell you, hope is permanent supportive housing like Reedy Place that now serves 23 single occupancy units to folks once considered chronically homeless and having a serious mental illness. This is stable housing, a home, with wraparound support and case management services going forward. When an individual has stable housing, along with treatment and services that they want, homelessness can become a thing of the past. Thank you. Hope is more permanent supportive options as Church Street Place. United Housing Connections recently had the recent groundbreaking ceremony for Church Street Place, which will be 36 studio apartments, a home for someone once considered chronically homeless and having a disability. Their home to receive support and case management for as long as that person may need. Christopher was not able to be with us today. I wanted to share a message for him that how much I appreciate, and the others, my colleagues, appreciate his allowing us to walk along on his journey. It probably took, all in all, about 5 years before we were able to move him into housing. But what honor to have worked with someone and he allow us to walk his journey. So I'm delighted to introduce to you your next video. And I would say, hope is Chris's story.
I've went on a journey on a daily basis of finding food, finding water. I knew I could get help at one of the local places called The Mission. That's where I got hooked up with Mary Kay. I was actually going to have my very own place.
The mission for Greater Greenville is to provide support for people dealing with mental illness. If we're going to end homelessness in our community and elsewhere, we've got to have housing and supportive services. Those other things are very important, you know, transportation, jobs, but the importance you've got to have a place to go to see those folks that have been able to cross over and have their own place and have their own key and have a place to shower and a place to prepare their food and a place to go to sleep at night. That's hope.
That is hope. Isn't that hope? Thank you, Mary Kay. Thank you, Jared, and the Bob Jones University Cinematic Arts. As we move from being inspired about how we can end homelessness, I want to share a few words of thanks to each person featured again in our Stories of Hope. Creating short documentaries was GHA's #1 goal for 2022. Thank you for embarking on this journey with us, for trusting us, and taking time to be present today. Thank you for sharing your experience to give others hope. And to our steering committee and working group leadership, plus working group members, we thank you. To our sponsors for your generosity, and to the team here at Grace Church, for without which we would not be here today. To our many volunteers who have helped make this possible. To the team of volunteer artists, volunteers who edited these stories, volunteer photographers, and our social media squad, but especially to our lead volunteer who was fantastic on the stage, Tina. She worked in healthcare, and she has a deep appreciation for the work to improve the effectiveness of the entire system. Grace Church, as she said, connected us to Tina, and we could have not asked for a more incredible volunteer, a true servant leader. Thank you to each of you attending today, and I am grateful as we gather for the reminder of the tremendous power we have in coming together as a connected community. A connected community built on relationships. And the model that GHA follows, I hope you're getting a sense of that today, is called collective impact. And it's built on shared voluntary leadership. The impact relies upon each of us choosing to lock arms, as our logo shows, and stand together, asking, what can I give? What can I do to create a stronger Greenville? This is our superpower. Thina Sinmunye. When I heard Adric describe that song to Ryan Jurek on the Miracle Hill podcast, I went to the internet and I found it, and I was like, this is it. This is the song for the 2022 iGNITE Luncheon. So thank you again to our singers for doing such a great job with it. GHA is unique. We hope you're getting a sense of that as well today. We're the only coalition, as you have heard, bringing this diverse group of partners together, truly working to expand our shared leadership. We are the only coalition working intentionally to shift the entire system of homelessness, working to bring strengths and assets forward so we can end homelessness. Are they going to turn the other one off? Okay. Sorry about that. So we are a system made up of people who are choosing to come together and creating a web that is strong, resilient, and works over time to increase options for people seeking stability. As you heard, this idea was birthed in 2015 when a group of 18 community leaders decided to abandon their individual agendas in favor of this collective approach. Do you know how many of those original 18 are still with the same organization? 5. You just saw one of them on the stage, and I think Jenny Stroud was supposed to be here, and I just want to give her a shout out because many of the people are still working in jobs but planted seeds when they were in places like the city of Greenville. These 18 leaders realized that fixing one point on the homelessness continuum wouldn't make much of a difference unless all the parts improved at the same time. No single organization, however innovative or powerful, could accomplish this alone. Instead, their ambitious mission became to coordinate improvements at every stage. So GHA embodies the principles of adaptive leadership. That's the ability to focus all of our attention and create this sense of urgency, the skill to apply pressure on that system to stakeholders without overwhelming them, and the competence to frame issues in a way that presents opportunities as well as the difficulties, the strength to mediate conflict among stakeholders. GHA is a highly leveraged investment. As the backbone organization with a modest annual budget of roughly $200,000, we support a collective impact initiative magnifying the impact of millions of dollars from the public and the private sector. Mobilizing and coordinating stakeholders is far messier and slower work than funding a compelling grant request from a single organization. Systemic change, however, takes time. And we're young. We're just going to turn 5 next year. So for the first time this year, we worked with the leadership and we established goals and outcomes. And here we are, staring that down as December quickly approaches. We're going to just share a few more. You've heard some already today. Our Educate Working Group, as you heard, has done this Mythbuster campaign, but what you didn't hear, there's been hundreds taking our quiz, to thousands of impressions over social media, to thousands more who have been reached. Impact for the Innovate Working Group included the Biblical Justice Forum. You saw a little clip of that in our video. We were able to engage and grow our work with the faith community by 71%. We had intentional alignment with Community Works, who provided follow-up training to pastors, and Goal Justice, who just this month selected housing and mental health as the top community issues to study. Impact for the Advocate Working Group, as you heard, was the Training Academy held in partnership with the Sterling Neighborhood Association. They also developed this really amazing workbook, a 7-day guide to help us all build our advocacy muscles, which is really important. And just 2 weeks ago, I shared this guide with the Hispanic Alliance Student Dreamers. If you don't know the Student Dreamers, they work to empower youth to open doors of opportunity for themselves, for generations to come. Collaborate has increased our community's understanding of resources for frontline service providers, and they've worked to really shift the power dynamics, which is a big part when we talk about putting pressure on this whole system. We're the only coalition that held these listening sessions with over 120 different stakeholders, representing 60 different cross-sector organizations. And that helped us put out our COVID-19 brief. And also we updated our information in our 2021 report on homelessness, and we are so proud to share that we took that not only to the city of Greenville, to Greenville County, to the school board, but also to the other municipalities here in Greenville County. And that's a really big step forward for this coalition. We're pleased to have Councilmember Booker from the city of Greer with us today. When we come together, change happens in ways beyond our imagination. Like Grace Church purchasing the Greenville Tech student housing to create front porch housing. When I saw that the GHA data that was issued 3 years ago today was in letters of support for that purchase of student housing, I was blown away. That coming together could create a $16 million investment from Grace Church. The city of Greenville, which we're pleased to have several council members join us, every year since 2018 has made an investment in affordable housing, now more than $10.5 million, with an additional $14 million over the next 5 years. And just to give you a little piece of that is how it relates to what Mary Kay described in her comments. $300,000 went as the final funding to make Church Street Place possible, with another $505,000 coming from Greenville County Redevelopment Authority, $500,000 from Greenville Health Authority, $1.7 million raised by individuals who are part of the Searchlight Initiative. And they first connected with GHA in 2018. So you can see these projects in housing take time. But Deborah Samore preached a sermon when she was at Trying Mercy that said, this is what our community needs. And the final piece of that, it was offset by a $9.9 million loan through SC Housing. The vision for our community focuses on the power, again, of relationships. Everyone here, we all have a unique story. And with your help, more people can become ignited when you connect them to these stories of hope we're hearing today. These banners are just a representation of some of the stories. We had more stories than we had students in the class this year, so we hope with your help we could produce more one-minute documentaries. What Bob Jones has given to us would have cost us thousands of dollars. So thank you again. Last year, if you were with us, you might remember that Alan Graham, our featured speaker from Austin, Texas, described the Greenville we show, but the Greenville we know. Raise your hand if you remember Alan's little connection of that. I was so proud to show him and tell him about Falls Park and our beautiful downtown. But I hope you leave here today working so we can connect and be proud to know and show all parts of Greenville. We, the Homeless Alliance, want to merge the two. As we've stated in our report and our COVID brief, now is the time. You've seen today what building a connected community can do, and we invite you to walk alongside us, just as partners have walked alongside the people and families featured in our powerful stories of hope. Thank you so much.
One more. Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Fowle-Shiorn, and I am the pastor and director of Triune Mercy Center and a steering committee member for GHA. Hasn't today been amazing? Let's give everybody another round of applause. We've had opportunities to hear from people who've experienced homelessness, who've served in organizations that provide support, or who have volunteered in these organizations. They all have the same message. We will only end homelessness together as an entire connected community. So my charge is the call to action. What are we to do? So I'm going to invite you to think about 5 options that you can share. The first one is to share your mind. When you learn more and you share with others what you've learned, you help shape a community and give a deeper understanding of what homelessness looks like and the toll that it takes on its members and all of us in the community. Number 2, you can share your time by volunteering for GHA in any one of these wonderful partnering organizations. Number 3, you can share your voice, be an advocate for issues that impact homelessness. Number 4, you can share your social capital to begin influencing policies, practices, and resource flows in ways that positively impact our community. And last but not least, and number 5, you can share your financial resources to ensure that GHA continues the work of convening and connecting our community to find solutions to end homelessness. At Triune Mercy Center, where I have the privilege to serve with a wonderful group of people, we give to GHA because we believe that GHA helps us to fulfill our mission. Therefore, we are grateful because GHA, as a collective impact, can accomplish way more than we can by ourselves. Amen? I'm a preacher, y'all. Amen? So therefore, we support GHA, and I hope that you will partner with Triune and with many other partners you saw on the screen to continue to support and share in this wonderful work of GHA. Thank you.
All right, thank y'all so much. I know we're a little bit over on time, but it was worth it. This has been amazing. We hope that you all leave today feeling inspired, ready to engage, and ready to build a connected community connected to ending homelessness in Greenville County. Your support is critical to our continued success. So again, make sure you stop by the tables in the lobby on your way out to pick up your tiny painted house, and the lobby will also have where you can give your donations if you'd like to get the tiny painted house or a t-shirt. Thank you to our online audience, and thank you to everyone here in person and everyone that's participated in the program today. Thank y'all.
Sina simunye. Sina.